Mr. Gavaskar joins us now. Mr. Gavaskar, thanks so much for joining us, sir. Good to have you back here on the show. First up, the BCCI is not really what it used to be in terms of the influence that it used to wield in world cricket. In that context, what do you make of the fact that the Indian Cricket Board is not willing to back down as far as the new revenue model is concerned?
Well, I think they've had their special general meeting maybe about a few weeks ago, where they decided what stand they should be taking at the just concluded ICC meeting, and so that's what has happened. Now they're talking about having another SGM. Look, influence is the only influence that has remained pretty constant at the international level, has been that of England and Australia. I think others have been strong for a while and have lost their influence due to a variety of reasons. And so maybe India is not as powerful as it was, say, maybe a couple of years back. And maybe they'll have to look within themselves as to why that has happened. Because clearly what has happened is because of things that only the BCCI is responsible for. So I think that's something that they'll have to look inwards to find out why the influence is no longer the same.
Right, you make a very valid point there, Mr. Gavaskar. Perhaps a certain amount of introspection is what is required as far as the Indian Cricket Board is concerned going ahead. However, there are reports doing the rounds currently that a number of members of the BCCI might just vote in favour of India pulling out of the Champions Trophy because they are not in favour of the new revenue sharing model. Will it come as a big shock, sir, if a team like India pulls out of what is the Mini World Cup?
Well, if they go strictly by the book, strictly by the agreement that has been signed prior to when the 2014 model came through, I think with that legal agreement, they're entirely within their rights if they decide to withdraw from the tournament, because that is what I understand is clearly stated in the agreement. The agreement that was there in 2014 has been completely overlooked. I don't think we should forget that. It has been completely overlooked while this new model has come through. So I think the thing is that if 2014's agreement has been overlooked, you can maybe overlook the 2017 model also within a couple of months. So that is also entirely possible, because in this world of constant changing loyalties and constant changing friends, anything can happen. So that also is a possibility.
Right. Do you see the BCCI really maybe accepting this model in some time, sir? Because like you're saying that perhaps this revenue model which has been passed in 2017 might also perhaps be forgotten. There might be a case for the BCCI to stand up and say that no matter what, we are not going to accept this. However, what most critics are saying at this time is that if India does go ahead and pull out of the Champions Trophy, then the BCCI will perhaps have to live in isolation, and they cannot afford to do that when most other players in world cricket, most other members of the ICC perhaps want this new model to come into existence, maybe barring some a country like perhaps Sri Lanka. But everyone else wants this new model to come into existence. Can the BCCI then afford to live in isolation?
Well, let's not forget one thing. Having a BCCI team tour the countries where they are supposed to go to Australia, England, South Africa, Sri Lanka, wherever. When India goes to that particular country, that country's television rights jump up, by a huge difference. What perhaps would be between, say, one team and another team, apart from the Australia-England series, which have been since 1877, have been iconic series. When it comes to other countries playing against each other, television rights don't get the same kind of money. So when India tours, the monies get double, triple, quadruple. I don't know exactly how much, but there's a huge boost. So there is no way that India can be isolated. No way that India can be isolated, because every country wants India to tour their country because of this particular fact. So I think that for that particular thing about being isolated, I think we should just completely forget about it, because India will not be isolated. There's no worry about the Indian Premier League being affected as well, because there are with the fees that the overseas players get is something which they do not get even playing maybe 5 seasons of domestic cricket. Apart from, of course, the odd top level players, they don't get it. So there will be no real threat to the IPL either, because the IPL will still have top quality overseas players coming and playing. So I think those two fears that a lot of people have should be, we should not have those fears. But I think what is required is for people to sit down even now and to try and understand. I want to know only one thing. If your 590 million or whatever it is that the BCCI was supposed to get, if that is wrong, then how is 290 million or the other 100 million that has been offered after that, so I'm told, is right? If the whole idea is equitable distribution amongst all cricket boards, then every board must get exactly the same amount.
Right.
But if you accept that India, because of the monies that India gets into the ICC sponsorships, etc., should get a larger share, then why has one model been rejected and a model being brought where from say 20 or 22%, it is now brought down to 15%? What's the logic behind that? Because if India is putting in 75-80%, surely, not really 80%, but something commensurate with that kind of investment has to be given to the major investor. And I think if in that case, if it's a question of getting much more, and what was accepted in 2014 by all the boards, 2014 all the boards accepted it. It was, okay, there might have been the odd murmur here and there, but there's been an odd murmur here and there as well for as far as the decision taken 2 days ago was. So I think we need to really take that into account as to why from 590 you bring to 290 or 570 to 290 and then add another 100 million. What is the logic behind that? That has to be explained by those who made the call. Because if, as I said, either it's everybody gets the same, all the test playing countries, the full member countries as they get the same, then you're equal. Everybody is equal. But if you are yourself accepting that, yes, India should get a little bit more, why only 290? Why not 450? Why not 570?